brief, and I know we've got other amendments on the desk, and I've looked at this issue, and I would say that, when you look at the national debate and where we stand on this, mandates just quite frankly are a very lazy way of governing. I mean, we sit here and we promote the vaccine and we talk, say that people should follow the science, that they should talk to their doctors, make informed choices for themselves, but then we mandate it on the back ends. And I'll say that it is our role, it is the role of local governments, it is the role of the federal government to educate, but we see all this stuff from the national level all the way coming down to our localities, and the real impact is on people. It's on people that I grew up with. It's on firefighters. We have firemen who are walking off the job or are being terminated because of their personal decision. That's a big, big issue. And from a public employee standpoint, a couple months ago, we heralded these individuals for being on the front lines, protecting us, being at risk, cops, firefighters, paramedics, nurses, doctors. We did all of that, and we said they're the true heroes. We did that to the clerks. And now we're saying now in our culture that if you're not vaccinated, you're not worthy of a job, or that a local government knows best and that they should be able to mandate that. That's a big issue, especially around Christmas time as we face Christmas and people heading into the holidays. These public servants don't make a lot of money. But we're sitting here, and it's not that we just don't. We see this all around our state. We see it around our country. My brother is a paramedic in Oregon, and he is a resident of South Carolina. But the reason why he is in the state of Oregon right now is because the state of Oregon decided to mandate the vaccine for all their employees, which caused paramedics to walk off the job. And so the price of a paramedic, their salary, $50,000, $60,000, maybe $70,000, maybe less, depending on their area. The price of that paramedic is now exacerbated because the state of Oregon, for a political decision that they made, is having to import people to fill a void in a rural community. My brother's the only paramedic in that county in which he serves. It's a rural county. And we see this a lot. There are a lot of reasons. There's been testimony. I've received calls from people. But at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. And I've always said this, and I've been very clear, and we've heard a lot of this. We've heard a lot of choice talk today. You should make that choice. You should be informed. Go get informed. But we don't need to have local governments deciding these things, political subdivisions. So on the one part of this bill, I think we're really good. And on the other part too, I hear a lot of discussions that this isn't important, that it's not serious. I think it's very serious, right? I think there's a lot of amendments still on the desk to maybe perfect the bill or do something with the bill. But when are we hear a lot about businesses today, but when are we going to start talking about the American worker? When are we going to start talking about the 48% of South Carolinians that have chosen not to do this yet? We are creating, by allowing this to happen, two sects of individuals so that if you decide to get vaccinated, opportunities are afforded to you that are not afforded to somebody else who decides not to get vaccinated. And again, there's a lot of reasons why people choose not to do that. It could be faith-based, from a religious standpoint. It could be medical. I have a lady in my district, and she's elderly. She actually wanted one vaccine because she had anaphylaxis to another, but she still wanted it. But again, people have real health reasons and real choices and real reasons why they decide not to do this. But we're sitting here and we're creating a scenario, and you see businesses that are doing this, big corporations, they're falling in line with some of these edicts, and they're kind of doing it because they're saying they're doing it because of the federal mandates. They probably wanted to do it all along, if we're being honest. But we're creating two different types of people depending on what they choose to do with this vaccination. And so our job is to make sure that people are educated, put the stuff out there. If we're asking people to follow the science, why are we discussing mandating anything from a local government perspective? Why are we allowing firefighters to turn in their resignation or be fired? Because we're not giving them that choice. I just think it's ludicrous that we sit here, and again, I'm sympathetic to businesses. I understand it. But my concern is that you have a real problem that is being created in our society right now, where you're creating two different types of people depending on the choice that they make on the vaccination. I think it's the wrong approach. I support this amendment, the spirit of this amendment, and I think that we should pass this bill. I don't think it's a waste of time. I don't think that it's a purely political reason. This vaccination isn't red versus blue. It's not black versus white. There's a lot of demographics in our state and in our country that have chosen for whatever reason to not do this. And it's our job to make sure that we put information out there, that we put correct information out there, which has been a problem all along, and that we allow people to make informed decisions, and that we don't mandate things. And so from a public perspective, I really think that we need to be careful, because the testimony out there, people in public service, firemen that I talk to, cops, they want to do their job, but they don't want to be mandated to take a vaccination, and they shouldn't have to be. And so, but you have local governments that are choosing to take and you have colleges that are choosing to take a political position on the vaccine when they need to be figuring out how to educate the public. And so for that, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield back, but I really think that this bill is important, not only to our state, but really all across the country. We hear these discussions ongoing all the time, and so we need to take this seriously. It's a serious matter that people have chosen, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Mr. Fry, we have a number of questions.